Yes, Nithyananda, everybody, welcome back. So, as we are preparing ourselves for the live Darshan, we're going to be learning about the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, the advent of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Sorry for the technical glitch. Yes, as we are learning about the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was born on 3rd of January 1978 in the holy town of Tiruvannamalai in India. And on 17th of July 1981, at just the age of 3, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was coronated into Bala Sannyas by the enlightened adepts and enlightened masters in Hinduism. The science of identifying incarnations is revealed very clearly in the Hindu tradition. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was identified as an incarnation at a very young age by Yogi Yogananda Puri. At the age of 16, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was coronated to revive the Kailasa. As we can see in the photograph here, towards the left, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's Guru, Mata Vibhudananda Puri, has blessed the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism with the Kamandalu and the Danda, which is given as an initiation to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And here we're looking at the early days where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, at a very young age itself, began the construction and revival of the entire mission of Sri Kailasa. As you can see, when the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was very young, the temple monastic complex towards the left, his Guru Mata Vibhudananda Puri, he himself built brick by brick, following the instructions and the guidance of his Guru. Similarly, at the age of 8, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism constructed and established the first Adinam, or the temple monastic complex, the Kailasa temple, in Tiruchengodu Adinam on 14th of April 2001. And in the year 2002, on 4th of November, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism established the Adi Kailasa Sarvanya Peetham, which is the headquarters. Year 2004, at the age of 25, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism started conducting mass living enlightenment programs and conventions of the 7 energy bodies. As you can see in the photograph, there are huge amounts that started flocking in at a very young age itself. So these are the various establishments and the revival of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to establish Kailasa all around the world. As we can see, at the age of 27, the Supreme Pontiff of various high-class and high-end programs. Similarly, in the year 2010 also, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism continued to establish and create various mass enlightenment programs for the entire mass. On 18th of September 2015, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism initiated thousands into mass enlightenment in Kumbh Mela in Nasik. Similarly, on 5th of May 2016, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism initiated thousands into living enlightenment at the Kumbh Mela festival in Ujjain in India. Here is a brief coronation, the various, as we can look at right now. These are the various coronations of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. At the tender age of 10, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was coronated and ordained as the 233rd Guru Mahasanidhanam of Kanchi Kailasa Sarvanya Peetham. following which he was coronated as the incumbent emperor of the Suryavamsa Surangi Samrajyam, then the present 23rd Guru Mahasannidhanam of the Dharmamukti Swargapuram Adinam. He was also coronated as the 293rd Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam of the Madurai Shyamala Pita Sarvanya Pitam and coronated as the Mahamandaleshwar of the Mahanirvani Akhada. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is also the 1008th Acharya Mahamandaleshwar of the Atal Akhada, and ultimately was elected as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism by a huge mass number of leaders, Hindu spiritual leaders, with over 1,000 Hindu leaders and pontiffs. Here, we're looking at an introduction to the sovereign state of Sri Kailasa, also the United States of Kailasa. Kailasa itself is a macrocosmic, ancient, enlightened Hindu civilizational nation, whose very vision is to live enlightenment and providing this science for the entire humanity. The mission of Kailasa is to revive and share the today's world practical applications of the greatest science that the authentic Hinduism has to contribute to the entire world, be it the science in the Hindu cosmic physics, Hindu alchemy, Hindu cosmology, Hindu biology, in various other topics and categories. At one point in time, there were over 56 nations that practiced all of these truths and this enlightenment science, but now has been facing an extinction due to the persecution of Hinduism over a millennium. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has also initiated over 1,008 Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations initiatives that are directly in relation with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So as you can see, various initiatives has been taken towards empowering the indigenous communities, protecting them, Sri Kailasa's Uniting Nations against cyber terrorism, and so on. Here we're looking at the photographs taken from began right from the time he started the public life over the last 27 years. We have 1 billion plus meals that have been served over the last 27 years. And the Hindu ASMT community, which is the Adi Saivite minority tradition, has served more than 3 meals in religious gatherings to everyone without any discrimination of caste, creed, race, religion, without any of that. And even till date, we have 10,000 meals that every single day, completely free of cost. And these numbers hit up to over 100,000 on festival days. You can all have a look at the various photos that are there. As we all know, the COVID pandemic took a huge toll on each and every one of our life and on the entire world in a global range. During the pandemic, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism converted every monastery campus into a quarantine facility for all the participants and all the people from around the world. Free food, free internet access, free shelter, free clothing, everything was given free for all, regardless of any differences in age, color, or socioeconomic status. And 30 million citizens followed the Kailasa's 28-day spiritual regimen in 2020 to protect themselves from the COVID pandemic. And here we're looking at an introduction to the Nithyananda Hindu University. The Nithyananda Hindu University was established by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and it is the world's largest Hindu university. The Nithyananda Gurukul, established on October of 2nd, 2006 by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, is the stepping stone towards the revival of the ancient Adi Shaivite Gurukul Guru-disciple education system. It's an authentic knowledge transmission system based on the science of enlightenment. Looking at the numbers, as you can see, over 20 million students have enrolled with over 7,000 free courses and extended campuses in over 150 countries. And these are the photographs of the Nithyananda Jnanalaya and the Hinduismpedia, which is the contribution in the field of library. As we know, in every tradition, it is the knowledge that is the main, that is the base. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has established the Nithyananda Hindu Jnanalaya to collect and preserve the 1 million plus Hindu scriptures that are there, to ensure that all of this knowledge is preserved, protected, digitized, and shared to all for free. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself has authored over 10,000 books in 3 languages. These have also been translated into 50 languages. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has also published over 10,000 articles and given over 10,000 plus free discourses, which have hit over 1 billion views. The Kailasas Hinduismpedia is a collection of more than 15 terabyte of digital books and rare manuscripts from all the 19 Sarvanya Pitams, which are the ancient mats and the authentic traditions from around India and the other parts of the world. 1 million pages of Hinduism and 22,000 digital books have been there. And these are the photographs, as we can see, where the peace conclaves and confluences have been held for the global peace and religious harmony by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. As we can look in the photos right now, this is just one incident where in 2009, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism organized for a month-long peace walk covering 1,000 kilometers and 10,000